I would like to turn it over to our first sponsor. It would be James from De-icing Depot to talk about his product, and be sure to see James outside. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, good morning, everybody. I am James with De-icing Depot, and I did want to start after Phil's last conversation that we do not make anybody take what they do not order. That's typically something that happens to municipalities or states. We do serve states and municipalities, and I would never make, or a lot of our other local vendors in our area, we do not make you take what you do not order. We understand sometimes you need more, sometimes you need less, and we're on the ride with you. Pretty excited to talk today. We offer all sorts of non-chloride de-icers, solar salts. Those of you that are making brine. Do I have control of my slides? The green button. Sorry. Those of you that are making brine, I'm sure you understand the difficulties doing that. You're using mostly road salt in this area, and sometimes it can be difficult because it's full of grit and sand and larger granular sizes, so it's hard to make that brine. So if anybody wants to speak to me after the show on solar salts and brine mediums so that it's easier and quicker for you guys to make brine and you won't get all the dirt and other things caught up in your tips while you're spraying. We offer lots of de-icing equipment, all aircraft grade aluminum. We do stuff from 50 gallons to 5,000 gallons. Last year we made sprayers that could identify bridge pillars and not spray them as it was driving by. So lots of stuff. We do lots with municipalities and contractors, and as well as lots of custom work. Most exciting thing that I have, and I've been very, very proud of this, is going all electric. So coming next year, we'll be able to replace every Honda motor or hydraulic motor on your truck with a 12-volt electric pump that can achieve the same rates that you're getting now. They draw about 30 amps. You'll never have to deal with changing oil again in your Hondas or the salt mist coming into the flywheel and clogging everything up. These motors are 100% submersible. Our tester has been sitting in salt brine for almost a year now and has not stopped running. So we'll be able to come in and take care of all those issues while you guys are spraying brine. I know the Hondas are a big Achilles heel when you guys are spraying brine. Thank you again for having me. If you have any questions, my name is James, and I'll be outside.
Thank you, James. You can direct questions to him outside. Next, we have Steve Sepaniak with the New York rep from Metal Plus. Is Steve here? Oh, there you are, Steve. Sorry. Come on up.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
I wasn't expected to speak. Really don't have a lot to say other than I've got a plow outside. If you want to go outside and look at it and ask me some questions, we can do that. I know sectional edges were brought up quite a bit during this, and I know from many years of past experience in the industry, the changes they're making in the improvements and the reduction of salt usage. So all of you should seriously consider, and not just Metal Plus, but going that direction. It will make the world of difference in cleanup, salt savings, operation time, fuel savings. Okay? Any questions? We'll go outside and talk about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve, and sorry you didn't get the memo on that. So it's good you're quick on your feet. Last, we have Joe from Innovative Surface Solutions. Joe and Innovative have been a big supporter over the years, and we'll turn it over to Joe quickly. After this, quick break, which will mold together with the demo session, so be sure to go outside. Thank you.
Perfect. I appreciate that. As I drop everything up here. Yeah, we really believe in what the Lake George Association is doing with salt reduction, so that's why we continue to be one of the leading edge sponsors here. For those of you who don't know about Innovative Surface Solutions, we're the largest liquid de-icing manufacturer and distributor in the Northeast U.S. We've got a 40 million gallon capacity terminal down in Glenmont, New York, where we distribute all sorts of different liquids to municipalities, private contractors. To the person who asked the question before, I think it was the gentleman over here about contractors getting on board with reducing their chloride usage. I had a presentation the other day in front of 125 contractors in the state of Connecticut put on by the Connecticut Groundskeepers Association with the sole goal of promoting technologies, promoting salt reduction. So people are out there listening. Contractors see it more than anybody when it comes to their bank accounts, their bottom line. So if they can cut down their usage, it goes a long way for contractors. So they are trying to get on board in the cutting edge industry of using liquids, using these technologies that are available to them to try to reduce the amount of material they need to use. So my point of contention with Chris was I do presentations all over, and I could probably talk for an hour, and I have a very scientific presentation that I'd like to show you a couple slides in. I'm going to try to keep it short but sweet, but I will tell you that this is available in a longer format if anybody thinks that the information is interesting to them and would like to request that. We've got regional managers, territory managers all over the Northeast US who are more than willing to come right to your location and do this presentation for you. So keep that in mind with us. There isn't one solution. We've seen from all these presentations that have been done so far that to reduce your salt usage, it's going to be a combination of things. It's going to be cutting edge technology when it comes to the equipment. It's going to be using monitors and sensors that are going to help you out. It's going to be calibration and really getting buy-in from the guys who are working on the crews. I can't speak to all that stuff, but what I can speak about is the liquids, because that's what Innovative Surface Solutions has been doing for over 35 years. That's what I've been doing for almost 13 years now, where everybody else in here has to worry about other things. They have to worry about box culverts and sand and cleaning it up and all street sweepers and everything like that. For 12 months out of the year, I focus on de-icing materials. So I've been able to kind of go a little deeper into that rabbit hole than maybe a lot of people have before. One other note I'd like to make before I go to this next slide is that if you're not tracking winter severity, you need to start tracking it, because winter severity matters. We saw some of the slides earlier where you see some spikes. Yeah, the one question was asked, I think, by the gentleman right over here. Why was there a really, really big gap in the chlorides in 2014? Well, I only remember this because that was the year my first daughter was born. So I remember being on my back deck on Christmas Day, and I was grilling steaks. It was 75 degrees and sunny out. So there wasn't really a whole lot of need for any salt on the ground during that particular day. So that year was pretty mild, but winter severity can really help you track that and see where the correlations are, where your reductions are coming. If you have an extremely heavy winter and you're still reducing the amount of salt you're using, then you're doing a bang up job. But if the weather is 75 and sunny and your numbers are going down, there's a correlation there. So just keep that in mind. I just want to make sure everybody is aware of that. Hopefully this works. Perfect. So this is a chart that we have taken from the National Cooperative Highway Research Program guidelines for the selection of snow and ice control materials to mitigate environmental impact. This is third-party information, but we like to promote this because this was not put on by Innovative. This is not something that we paid a university to do a research project on. This was completely independent, and it tells an interesting story. So with this, you'll see we cover some of your common de-icing materials, your salt brine, magnesium chloride, calcium chloride, even some of the lower blend magnesium chlorides. And then we also cover some of the OBPEs, as we call them, the organic-based performance enhanced liquids, or agriculturals, you'll hear them called a lot. But what this does is this is going to take the material and it's going to talk about how many pounds of active ingredient are actually in that material. And then based on that, the chloride ion percentage of the material. So for example, salt brine is 60.66% chloride. Chloride. That's how much of it is. So it's 2.25 pounds of active ingredient, which is actually for 23.3, it's 2.8. But so your actual, every gallon of salt brine you put out is 1.37 pounds of chloride that you put down. So they went and they took this and they looked at the gallons of de-icer that you need to melt 100 pounds of snow and ice. And when they did this at certain temperatures, they just tracked how much it needed. So they started at 23 degrees, and at 23 degrees, to melt 100 pounds of snow and ice, you needed 5.4 gallons of salt brine at 23%. That equated to 7.4 pounds of chloride ions that you were going to be introducing because of being able to melt that. Now, as you start to work your way down, you start to look at materials like calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, which have much higher amounts of pounds of active ingredient per gallon, and they even have more chloride ion contribution. However, you need to use a lot less of them. So when you're able to use less of them, so for example, mag chloride at a 30% concentration, at that same 23 degrees, you needed 2.8 gallons of it to melt that same 100 pounds of snow and ice. So your total chloride ion contribution, even though there's more chloride per gallon of it, is still going to be less at that 23 degrees. So you can follow all the way down this chart. And again, I don't have the full time to go through every product and really break this down for everybody, but I am always available to do this presentation for anybody. But if you go down to some of these different temperatures, you can see, and it's all things that guys in this room know already. Salt, once you get below like 20 degrees, it struggles. We all know that. So you can see here on empirical data that you need more of that material to melt that snow and ice. And that's why you've always had to put out more when you're using just straight salt. So what I really want you to focus on here are some of the premium liquids. Something like the agricultural liquids, like the magnesium chloride in corn syrup or the magnesium chloride in molasses. So you can look at those materials and you can see that obviously with something like the molasses, you only need 2.1 pounds of that material to melt that same 100 pounds of snow and ice at 23 degrees. So your chloride contribution is going to be half of what you used with that regular salt brine. Salt brine is a great tool. It is a great anti-icing tool. We can make it better with premium liquids. If you're thinking about putting salt brine on your onboard wetting systems, I would not recommend that. And this is empirical evidence why, because adding more salt to it is not going to help us reduce salt. We need to start thinking about the premium liquids that we're putting down because premium liquids matter. We're using premium equipment. We're using the highest quality plow systems with these segmented plows now, which are amazing. You go into a cockpit of a truck now, it's like being a pilot. You've got joysticks galore, you've got computer systems. It's incredible. We need to start taking that approach. You know, we're using all this high quality equipment. Why not use the highest quality liquids? So again, I can do this presentation for anybody. Contact me, contact anybody in our company. We can schedule a full presentation in front of you, your town board, whoever is most interested in that. Hell, we'll even buy some pizzas for you and bring them in if we need to, okay? But thank you, everybody. I'm going to be out by my truck out there. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to come on out.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. We've made it through session 2. We're at a break and demo time. So please go out, check out the demos. Lunch is a bag lunch between 12 and 12:30. So you'll pick that up and can eat it here or wherever around the resort. And 12:30 will be our keynote speaker, Mark Yagi from Waterkeeper Alliance. Thank you.